Hello, Rafael. How are you?
I am doing great, Yvonne. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic, and I'm so happy we have one of our Tampa Bay area colleagues with us. Hi, Liva.
Good afternoon. How are you guys?
I am good. So are you in the Tampa area now, or where are you?
I am. Yeah. Well, today I am. I mean, tomorrow you never know. I'm usually never really in Tampa. Yes, I am in Tampa today.
Awesome. So I am not. You guys are both in the Tampa Bay area today. I'm in Panama, where it's very warm and sunny. So
I love it.
So now everybody knows where we are. So Tampa and Liva are both in Tampa. And did I say Tampa and Liva?
Tampa and Liva are both in Tampa.
There we go. So there's number one. I already made a faux pas. So Rafael and Liva are both in Tampa today, and I'm joining from Panama. So I'm so excited, Liva. I can't wait to get into our conversation today. We haven't known each other all that long. I followed you on LinkedIn for quite a while. I think we've been connected there for a few years. But I think we connected face-to-face for the first time just last year at the WCCP event in Orlando.
Yes. Yeah, it was. I thought maybe it was WCI, but the two of them.
Well, what I always say about WCI, because this is just the truth about that, is that we've probably seen each other many times, like two ships passing in the night, because everything's just so fast there. Totally. So that's quite possible. Mm-hmm. But I do remember connecting with you directly at WCCP last year. So that was great.
Yes. And I unfortunately will not be there this year because it conflicts. Like this year has been a crazy year with conferences where a lot of them are overlapping. I think like lots and lots of stuff is happening. So you kind of have to pick and choose. And there was one in Nashville and one in Orlando.
So you picked Nashville?
I did pick Nashville. So I will miss WCCP this year, sadly, but I have been there for the last 3 years, and it's an amazing conference as well.
Awesome. Well, we were all talking about Nashville for National Comp. It was a great place to have a conference. So I can totally understand why you selected Nashville. Lots to love there. All right, so let's dive in. First of all, I want you, Liva, to just take a couple of minutes to introduce yourself for our listeners who may not know you, who you are, and what is your role in this wonderful workers' compensation ecosystem.
Beautiful the ecosystem of workers' comp. A beautiful place. So I am Liva Rivera. I am the Chief Communications Officer for Hamilton Miller and Bertha Cell. In my previous life, I actually spent 20 years in an insurance defense firm as a secretary / paralegal. And then after 20 amazing years, I moved to the vendor side and I discovered business development and marketing, and people kind of liked me. So it was kind of fun. Like I was getting, to know new people, and marketing and business development is really all very relationship based. So I just got started kind of developing a lot of relationships within this industry, and spent about 7 years doing that, and then kind of came full circle and started at Hamilton Miller about 3.5 years ago now as their Chief Communications Officer, which is like such a fancy name. I thank Jerry all the time for giving me this like super professional, awesome title because it makes me sound like a big deal. So I actually had been like in the workers' comp space on the vendor side just a little bit. But when I came onto Hamilton Miller, Gina Jacobs, who's oversees our workers' comp department, and I know you've had her on before, she came on board right around the same time I did, and was overseeing and really just getting started with her workers' comp practice for Hamilton Miller, because historically they were not doing workers' compensation. So she has been such a blessing to me because she knows everybody in this industry. So it was like basically like a tag team effort with the two of us, just doing all the things, meeting all the clients. She introduced me to lots and lots of folks. And so I've just kind of ran with that. And it's been just amazing to watch her practice grow and watch the workers' compensation practice grow at our firm. And so I think she's got about 5 or 6 attorneys now underneath her on the workers' comp team. And we're just growing every day in this space. and I love it. The workers' comp community is the most amazing community, and I feel so blessed to be a part of it.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice. So yeah, we did have Gina on. I think it was last year. We had a great conversation with her. So today, Liva, we're going to talk about a couple different things. I'm going to start with social media. I don't think we've specifically talked about social media as a topic on Deconstructing Comp yet, have we, Ralph?
We have not. Yeah.
Let's do it.
I am kind of excited for this because I think, Liva, you and I are sort of kindred spirits when it comes to social media. As I mentioned, we followed each other for a while before we actually met face to face. So let's dive in. Liva, what do you think is good about social media and how do you use it as a connector in our, like we said, workers' compensation ecosystem?
Yeah, so I have LinkedIn. I feel as though it's a very kind of underutilized tool. And I think that since I have been kind of using social media in general over these last few years, I've kind of grown in what it means to me and how I use it. And it's kind of strategic. And I think people don't really realize that. I definitely feel like it's a way to connect with people. And when you're transparent and kind of vulnerable and open, people feel like they know you. And even if they don't know you personally, I can tell you, I have been to many a conference where someone has come up to me and they like introduced themselves. And I'm like thinking, oh my God, have I met this person? and I haven't. I've only known them from LinkedIn, but because we have sort of this relationship online, people just feel like I'm so much more approachable. People can just come and talk to me, and it's a conversation starter. And listen, maybe it's not for everybody, but I do think for my line of work and for what I do in business development, my whole job is building relationships. So how else do you build relationships, and how easy is it to post something? And I post things that are personal to some degree, but mostly just try to inspire people and do things that kind of make people believe that they could go out there and do a lot of these things that I do too. So it's a great conversation starter to be on LinkedIn, and it really opens a lot of doors. I cannot tell you how many private messages I get from people and how many times I've like gained a new client or a new just relationship through LinkedIn. Like it's shocking to me because people are like, oh, I saw this, and oh, I needed this. And then I remembered Hamilton Miller, and I'm a personal brand, right? Like a lot of people don't even really know what I do. They just know me. And so I feel as though it's good for my own toolbox for my life. No matter what I do, I have this ability to be relating with other people. But then in the same breath, like it's great for my firm too, because I try to promote my firm at every turn. I work for the best law firm in the whole wide world. So it's really easy to promote my firm too, as a result of what I do on social media. So I think social media is a very, very underutilized tool, and you don't have to be, posting all the time if you don't want to. And I was going to say this too, because Yvonne, we were talking before we got started, and you were saying how sometimes people aren't always really positive about you posting on social media. They might have something to say about it or might have an opinion. And a lot of times that's kind of punched me in the gut because it's made me feel like, oh gosh, maybe I shouldn't do this or shouldn't do that. But at the end of the day, everything I do is very positive, and it's really just to try to move the needle in a positive way. So I don't let a lot of that noise in, because if I did, I wouldn't do anything. I would never do anything at all, because I'd be so about everyone's opinion and everyone's judgment, because you're never going to please everyone all the time. So at the end of the day, if you know you're doing the right thing, that's really all that matters.
That's right. Thank you so much for sharing that, because I feel very much the same way. And I would say, those are some of the things that we tell people, maybe not talking about LinkedIn, but when you're just making relationships, right? Trying to connect with people. There are people that you may never connect with. You're just not their kind of person for whatever reason. And that's okay. It's our goal to connect with those that we can. And that is, I use it much in the same way. I agree 100% with what you said. I get people coming up to me all the time, and I have the same thing. Do I know this person? Oh my gosh, Yvonne. And I often come away going, I've gotten really much better at saying, I'm sorry, have we met before? And then that kind of takes the pressure off. And they're like, well, no, we have. Sometimes the answer is yes, unfortunately for me. But Also, a lot of times it is like, oh, we haven't met, but I follow you on LinkedIn. So
Right.
it's just
And
a
I
really
think
great.
And I think also when I'm transparent, like I become relatable to people too. And I have a lot of things in my life that people don't know about. People know a lot, but people don't know everything. But when I share certain things like as a for instance, I adopted one of my kids. I went through this whole journey with adopting my daughter, and most people never really knew that, and people don't know the depths of what that is. But when people see that, they can connect with that, and someone may relate to that. And I've had conversations with people about adoption, about all these things, because I've been there and I've related to that with them. And so when you can kind of make that connection by being vulnerable and being open, it changes the whole game.
That's true. And I would add to that, you're absolutely right. People see us, see us how we interact in the industry, whether it's at a conference speaking or, having a meeting with other people, and they have these perceptions about us, but they really don't know who we are and what's going on in our lives until we connect with them, right? And still, even like, you don't know everything about that person.
Right. I'm going to show you the highlights. I'm going to show you the positive stuff.
Yeah.
You're not going to see the bad stuff, because who the heck wants to hear about all the bad stuff? Like, you want to hear positive, uplifting things. You don't want to hear the negative stuff. I mean, we all go through it. And if I'm having a one-on-one conversation, I'm happy to be open to sharing that with you, but I'm not going to put that kind of stuff out there. It's always just going to be positive and uplifting.
Sure. And I know that I think we were talking about this before we started recording. Rafael had shared that he sees both of us as sharing vulnerability, that's not something that you see a lot. And I will tell you, and, Liva, I would expect that you're much in the same way. There was something that I shared very publicly at a conference. It was 2019, and it was a very scary topic. It was about something in my childhood. I lived with an abusive stepfather and lived through that. And then ultimately my mother died by suicide, and that it actually even took me 2 years to be able to talk about it. Rafael knows the story well, because I leaned on him very heavily to be able to tell that story. It was very hard. It was a raw, like ripping open a wound. And I remember being in hotel rooms, bawling my eyes out, crying. I'm sure the person next door thought I was being murdered.
No.
But it was because I was going through and reopening some very old wounds that I hadn't done in a very long time. And Rafael helped me through a lot of that and helped me. It wasn't that I wanted to share the story about this terrible thing happened to me. It was more about, I wanted to frame it and share how I was able to move through that and develop and become stronger. And that my mission that I see myself sharing in the world is to help others develop resilience and develop strength and things like that. So
well, and number one, like, it's so cathartic to be able to do that and be open and share about that, number one. But how many people could you be helping? I mean, mental health is like, I mean, we have kids. Like, I have a son who just started college this past year, and someone at Florida State had taken their life like a few months ago, and my kid is 4 hours away, and he's dealing with things like this. And it's real. And so for someone to hear that story, and for you to be vulnerable and open enough to share that, to just be a reminder to people, and I'm sure other people can relate and have gone through maybe what you've gone through too, like, it means the world, because you could change someone's life just by having that conversation and sharing, and how you moved through that and got to a better place. Because listen, we all go back to everything goes back to our childhood, right? Like, all the things we went through as kids, I'm like, oh, that's coming up again. But you moved through that, and to be brave enough to share that, it's probably helped more people than you even know.
Well, thank you. That was what I was going to say, is like, I was just blown away. And, Rafael knows a lot of the story. I was brought to tears after, because I was not prepared for what was going to happen next after sharing the story. And what happened was a lot of people came up to me afterward and did thank me for sharing the story. But what I was blown away by was how many men came up to me and talked to me about, with tears in their eyes, how many people in their life, their mother, their sister, their daughter, their niece, whatever. And that moved me. It really shook me to my core. So anyway, this is not about me, it's about you. I want to, but the point was like sharing vulnerability. So how do you get to a place, Liva, where you feel okay with doing that?
I fake it a lot. I fake it till I make it. I share things sometimes, and it's funny because I'm very much obviously on regular social media too. So when I first, was on Facebook all those moons ago and started, posting on Facebook, it was an interesting kind of movement to LinkedIn, to the professional side of social media, because most people know obviously now because I've shared enough about it, but I had gained a lot of weight after I had my kids, and then I went through a divorce. I lost a lot of weight. I jumped into fitness 2 feet in and did all this crazy stuff. I was doing fitness competitions and all this stuff and lost like 75 pounds. And that was all really cool. But like my identity completely changed. Like I still felt like the same person on the inside, but I was very different on the outside. And I was posting, on social media and like my bikini, I was doing bikini competitions. And then all of a sudden I started to get LinkedIn people requesting me on Facebook. And initially I was like, I'm not sure about this, but I was like, whatever, accept. So then I have a pretty large following of professional people on my Facebook. So then it's kind of like, okay. So it's a really hard line. I'm very proud of what I've done. I'm also in a bikini on a stage, right? So I don't post that stuff on LinkedIn now. I keep that stuff just to my regular social media. But it's definitely been a line that I've tried to walk on. And I think it's given me a little bit more courage to get more open on LinkedIn, where I used to not be as much. And I still get the occasional kind of ribbing about it, and people will give me crap about it now and then. But for the most part, I try to be pretty strategic about what I do on LinkedIn and try not to let it kind of overtake the social media side of things, like Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. So it's definitely a line that I try to walk. And sometimes when I post, I'm not always sure how it's going to land. And sometimes I'm really shocked by how things land, because sometimes I'll post something and think nobody's even paying attention. And I mean, I put a post up a couple of weeks ago and I think it got 35,000 views. And I mean, I literally have 4,000 maybe connections on LinkedIn. So the reach that it's getting, like of the people that are connecting to the people, like it's unfathomable. I'm like shocked by it. And it's kind of changed like lately in the past like few months to where it's grown more and more. So it's obviously landing pretty well for the most part. So I'm just kind of going with it. Like I don't really have a plan. I just kind of post when I want to post, and it's been okay so far.
Well, I think that's great. Thanks for sharing. I think that, where I was going with, before of sharing what I shared, you don't know it until you do it, but like you do, it's a connector to people that you don't know you have a connection with, right? And it makes, like you said, I can't remember the exact word you said, but it makes you more relatable, more available when you put yourself out there. And I know that Rafael, my dear co-host, there have been times where I've pushed him and said, come on, you need to put yourself out there some more. And he's like, no, I don't do that. And there's been some times that I've, gotten him to do it. There's been other times where he hasn't taken the bait. So
I think he does amazing. I think you do so good. And I love your little selfies. Like, I think it's like, it's a really good way to just, people want to see that. Like people do, yeah. They love seeing that. I love seeing when Rafael posts and he's got like, I'm like, oh, who's he with today? What's going on today? And he travels, I mean, a crap ton too. And let me tell you also the posting of being in all these places, like everybody literally thinks I'm everywhere. And I kind of am everywhere, but I think it's important because I am like representing my firm everywhere I go. And so I do think it's important to do that. And I think you're great with it, Rafael. And like, let me tell you, when I see Rafael in person, he just makes my heart explode. He's just the most genuine, like sweetest, and he's like my hype man. I'm telling you, because he's like always says the nicest things about me. And I just think you're doing great, Rafael. Don't you worry, you're doing amazing.
Oh, he does amazing. He does amazing. I was just saying that I tend to always be there
pushing him to do more, poking the bear.
So Ralph, what do you say?
To that point, Liva.
Yeah.
what does the firm think about those personal posts, right, on
Ah,
Facebook that some, slowly but surely creeping to LinkedIn?
yeah.
Is there a conversation? Are there parameters? Tell me a little more about that.
That's a good question. Well, funny enough, so my previous employee, I was in a much more corporate environment, and although they never told me what to post, I certainly wasn't as active as I am now. And one of the things I love most about Jerry is that Jerry has always given me the autonomy and the freedom to be who I am. And I can literally tell you, we have never had a conversation about anything that I post or put out there. He just likes everything. Like he's on my Instagram and stuff too. And he's like the first person to like all my stuff. So we've never had a conversation about it. But he does nothing but tell me I'm doing amazing things all the time. So he's obviously okay with it. And the firm has never given me and listen, at the end of the day, it's my page, right? So I do feel as though I never do anything that would be disrespectful to my firm or put them in a bad light. It really is me. And yes, I do represent the firm as well. But in that regard, like if that conversation ever came up, I would obviously be respectful to whatever they would want me to do. But it is still my page too, and I think as long as it's not anything like I wouldn't get involved in politics or any of that kind of crazy stuff, like not on my LinkedIn, it's just not the place to do that. So no, to answer your question, we've never had a conversation about it.
That's good. They're supportive. They're letting you be who you are. I love that.
Yeah. And it's why I love it here so much, because I think it's the first time I've been on this planet for 51 years. And for the first 20, when I was at my very first firm, I did feel like I was free to be me for the most part. But I've spent a few years falling on my butt and trying to kind of re-identify myself and figure out who I am now in my career. And one of the things I love most about my firm and Jerry is that he just lets me be who I am, and he thinks who I am is everything. And so you want to be in the rooms where people want you to be in those rooms.
That's awesome.
Hallelujah. Love that.
Well, before we move on, because we want to talk about something else, but before we move off of the social media part of it, I want to ask you, because you have kids, you mentioned I have kids, Rafael has kids. Yeah. It seems that some of the younger professionals are not understanding how powerful LinkedIn might be. Mm-hmm. So again, I want you to kind of underscore, you shared already how you use it, but like, what would you say to a younger professional that feels like, yeah, LinkedIn is not really their style and they don't have the time to put their profile together?
Well, my daughter is in digital marketing. She works for a startup company and kind of in the space of like marine logistics and things like that. And she does all of their social. So I would be shocked if young people didn't understand the power of LinkedIn. But if they didn't, I would say, like with anything, I think you start small. Even if you're just liking and commenting on other people's things to just kind of get yourself moving and get yourself out there. And even if you don't feel comfortable posting about yourself, and if that's not the way you want to go with it, you can post about the company that you work for, positive things in that regard, like wins and stuff like that. So I think you can always start small, and you can always be like a watcher, but you have to be on LinkedIn. I feel like it's the older people that really need the help, not the younger people, because I think we're like old dogs, right? We don't really want to learn the new tricks of being out there and putting ourselves out there and being vulnerable. And I will say this too, as I was actually at a women's event last year, and we were talking about like networking and kind of things that we do to network. And we were talking about social media, and most of the people in the room were very positive, but someone was not very positive towards me about it. And to be fair, they were an attorney. And I do think there are different lines and things that you have to follow, like Rafael can't necessarily post the things that I can post on LinkedIn and kind of get away with it, right? So I'm in a business development position. I'm not an attorney, so it's a little bit different. So I do think you always have to be mindful of what you're posting and the position that you're in and what it carries behind it. But I think young people, I think they get it. I think they just need to start. I think it's like when you're getting ready to get ready, you're never going to do anything. So you just got to do something. So just get started.
So I appreciate your input. Thank you. And I have come across quite a few younger professionals, my daughter being one of them. She's going to cringe when she hears me say this. But I've been telling her,
They
like,
always
it's really,
whatever, they're fine.
I'm like, it's really good to have your professional, profile on LinkedIn good. And she'll say like, oh, mom, is anybody really, and I have 2 daughters, one of them is a doctor of physical therapy. And her thing is like, mom, I don't have time. I'm too busy. I don't have time to go out on LinkedIn and do all this. And the other one's more creative. She actually does the back end production of our podcast here. So, hey, Ariana, thank you, honey.
Love you, Ariana.
But that's the thing is like, I do think that I kind of think you look at it as not your resume per se, but like, it's like the more you're out there, the more openness you have to be connected to, right? Like, it's not that you're looking for a particular goal, but you're just visible. You're accessible.
And it depends on what you're looking for. Like, what are you looking to get out of LinkedIn? Because some people wouldn't necessarily need to utilize the platform to move the needle in their career or their business, except for, like you said, like maybe if they're trying to kind of build up like sort of a resume to where, recruiters or things would see their posts and it might make them interested in, but it just depends on what you're trying to use LinkedIn for. And, I think some people are trying to use it for visibility. Some people just like to watch, and that's okay too.
Well, and I absolutely think that, because I do know there's a lot of folks that I know that are not, they think I'm an extrovert. And I always tell them, I wasn't always this way, and I'm not always this way day to day, right? Some days I'm not an extrovert at all. I'm more of an introvert. But I think it also depends on personality. There's a lot of folks that are just not comfortable with sharing in general. And I 100% agree with what you said about just engaging, like liking, sharing, commenting. That does a whole lot to make the connections happen. There's
Definitely.
that.
Yeah,
there's that.
For sure.
Ralph, your turn.
So how do you, and maybe you've already answered this, that some of it happens piecemeal, it just happens for you. But what is the short-term and long-term thinking, of tactical components? Do you have themes for the year? Do you have new things that you may be trying out to experiment with that connectivity, right? Give us a little in-depth of the mind of, social media expert there. How do you go out and plan for it, if you will?
I don't at all. I literally do not at all. I fly by the seat of my pants. I go with what my gut tells me to do. And from day to day, I have no idea what I'm going to do. Like, so, for instance, like in November, one of my son's little neighbor friends, she's lived here like since they were little kids. They grew up together. They went to homecoming together. They're not together, but they're like friends still. So she goes to UF. So she was never on social media. 18-year-old girl was never even on social media. So she gets on Instagram and she starts following me and she's like, "You run? I love to run. I'm running. I want to do a half marathon. I want to do it. So this was in November. So what do? I find a half marathon, and it was yesterday, and I signed her up for it. I paid for it. I said, "We're going to do this, right?" She's like, "Yes, I'll drive home from UF that weekend." I said, "Maybe we can train together. Maybe we can't, but let's just go do it." And then I've been sick for like a week and I have a horrible sinus infection. I feel like I'm going to die, but I'm one of those people that when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And so I don't want to be religious, but God takes me where I need to go. And so he's always like telling me what I'm supposed to be doing. So I was supposed to go run this race yesterday with her. So I went out there, literally felt like death. It was 40 degrees out there yesterday morning. And I ran with this baby girl and it was so perfect and so wonderful. And the pride that this little girl felt when she crossed that finish line and the fact that I was a part of that was like everything to me. And so that was why I was supposed to be there. So I had no idea that was even going to happen yesterday. So when I posted about it yesterday, like it happens. And so when things happen, it just works itself out. And so like I did High Rocks last weekend with Jordan in Phoenix and I did 7 months ago, she said, we're going to do a High Rocks. I didn't even know what the hell High Rocks was. And so here I am signing up for the stupid High Rocks. I went out there. I was like, holy crap. I didn't know that this was what it was. But we went out there and we killed it and it was amazing. And then I posted about it. And I even like dabbled in a couple of TikToks. And, so I don't really have a plan to answer your question. I just kind of go with what my gut tells me to do. And for whatever reason, my gut serves me pretty well most of the time.
Is LinkedIn, I mean, have you been in it from the very beginning, or is it something that's fairly new for you?
No, I've been on LinkedIn for probably about 10, 11 years. And it was funny because I was actually still at my firm and getting ready to leave. It was like maybe a year or two before I left. And I actually was really good friends with someone in business development who actually got me 2 of my 5 jobs that I've had in my whole life. And he was in business development and he was like, why don't you have a LinkedIn? Like I didn't have a LinkedIn. And then I had like 10 friends on LinkedIn. So he was like, you need to get on LinkedIn. You need to like start. And so, it's definitely been an evolution over the years. It's changed a lot. It's given you a lot more permission to do more on it. And I think I'm kind of like, I'm pushing through some things that maybe, some other people aren't doing to try to just take it to that next level. Cause I do think it's okay to do that. Like really, like none of this is brain surgery. It's not that serious. It's just LinkedIn.
So I have the total opposite spectrum of that. I've been in it from the get-go.
Oh, you have?
Oh yeah. And I now own 10 different subgroups: substantive, workers' comp, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, mandatory reporting, conditional payments, special needs trust. I mean, yeah, it's like a whole world of substantive knowledge, awareness, discussions. 100,000 later, it's like it's become, a voice being heard in an exchange. So for me, it is very planned, methodical, themes, educationally.
We need to talk more because maybe you can help me. Because honestly, like I'm flying by the seat of my pants and you've got this down to a science. So I can't, that's incredible, Rafael. That's really amazing.
So I marvel at, what you do. You're having fun with it. You're sharing, your life and your experience, while some of us are like, oh my God, this is.
See, that's one of the things that I'm always talking about with Rafael is he's always like all business all the time. We got to talk about business. I'm like, yeah, not so much.
Yeah. And again, like you can talk about all the business all the time, but when you talk about the other stuff, that's what makes you real. And that's what makes people want to get to know you and get to know whatever it is that you are representing, because they like you and they want to know more about you. And so the rest of that just kind of comes. And I think with each relationship that I get the pleasure of getting to have, the things come when they're supposed to be for me. If it's supposed to be for me, it's going to come for me. So, it's all about the relationship. So the rest of the business stuff, it'll come. But there is something to being a little bit strategic about it. So we are going to talk, Rafael. You're going to help me. I'm going to be unstoppable by the time
we'll definitely have to get together when I come back. I'm very proud of Rafael. He just posted a post on Friday. He's starting this new thing where on Friday he posts something fun. Mm-hmm. So he's emerging out of the business all the time. So this last Friday he posted, he was playing our music and he had his hat on and he was like, it was a lot of fun to watch.
I love it. That's one of the things. Sorry, what, Rafael? I'm sorry.
No, to your point, business. All of a sudden you allow yourself to be human and funny. And people are like, oh my God, look at this guy. Who knew?
Yes. It's so true. It really, I mean, it you don't think so, but it means a lot, because it when you're a little bit vulnerable and a little bit open to showing people who you are, people can see through stuff too, so they know if you're authentic and real, people like they respect it, they appreciate it, and it makes a huge difference.
Well, and I will say, and then we'll move on to another topic, but Rafael and Lisa, his wife, and my husband, Kuko, and myself, we're all really good friends. And I really treasure the moments that we get to spend together. And so like now that I'm living this new life where I live, part-time in Panama and part-time in Tampa, I'm missing a lot of the times we were getting together at least a couple times a month to have dinner and share time together. And I'm really missing that. So I don't think any of that would have happened, really. I mean, we knew each other professionally, but I think it was that me leaning on him to tell that very vulnerable story is what I think really sealed the deal and made me understand that he was
he's your 100%. People. Yeah,
he was.
And another thing I just wanted to share really quick, and then we can move to another subject. But one of the things I have been playing around with it, but I haven't done enough of it, and I want to do more of it. But I have a pretty large platform, and so because I have a pretty large platform, it allows me to highlight and showcase other people. And we have so many amazing people in our industry. So I try to take the time sometimes to really highlight other people, whether it be like my mentees, because I do quite a bit of mentoring and stuff like that, or just somebody that's just being a superstar, or somebody that's trying to get a new job and they've been struggling. And, I always try to highlight other people, because when you have the ability and the reach to be able to do that, it just makes a world of difference, because how many more people do I reach and I can tell somebody how amazing someone is, and it might help them to advance their career or to do something that they want to try to do. So, Rafael, you guys both have a pretty huge platform to be able to do that for others as well. You know what I mean? Well, and you're doing that right now, right? Like by doing stuff like this.
Oh, Liva, I love that. It's exactly how all the selfies get started. That was my purpose. I just want to highlight somebody who's doing incredible, right? The amazing work, the incredible individual, the leadership. So that was my, this person never gets that. I'm going to do it on my own. Let's take a picture, and now let me tell the world what an incredible human being you are,
It's
and
so
he really has a fan following. Let me tell you, people will knock me out of the way to get close to him.
And one of the things I tell my mentees the most, because it's the hardest thing to do, is to celebrate your own victories, because people aren't celebrating other people. And I think that we've always had this feeling of like, it's just a team effort and we just do the job. We don't need the credit. We don't need all the kudos, but you do, because like if nobody knows, nobody knows. And so I've learned to celebrate my own victories in a respectful way, in a way that doesn't like, oh, yay me, I'm so great. But in doing that, I try to highlight the people around me too, because it's really hard to promote yourself and to say how great you are all the time. So you need other people to be doing that for you. So I always try to do that. But in the same breath, I'm also saying, hey, like I won too. We won together, but I helped. So it's important to do. It's good to highlight other people that are doing amazing things too.
Well, thank you. I want to give us time to talk about something really important because you mentioned it already. But I want to ask you, Liva, let's chat about mentoring. And I want you to share from your perspective why that is important. I mean, Rafael and I say it all the time. We are a little more seasoned than you are. We've been in this industry for a long time. And so we're really
not that much longer than me. You guys are little babies. Get out of here.
No. I think we have at least 10 years on you, maybe 11. But we're always asking folks to show up. And for those of us that are seasoned, it's time for us to give back, to mentor, to do what we can to bring those that are coming up behind us and make it a little easier for them. Like that was the purpose of this podcast, was to frankly make getting to know about the workers' compensation ecosystem a little bit easier than it was when we came into the industry, because it wasn't so easy. It wasn't for me anyway. I clawed my way. And I always say I cut my teeth on, actually for a couple of years, actually 5 years, I was working on RFPs. I was given the responsibility to answer requests for proposal. And so I was that person that pulled all the information together, digested it and wrote it up, for RFPs. So that's a good way to cut your teeth. Not so much fun, but it did. So the question is mentoring. Why is it important, and how do you do it in our industry?
Yeah. So, I don't want to accept that I'm getting older, but I am. And I have been in this industry for almost 30 years. And I often say, I wish I had a me when I was coming up because my goodness, like you said, I was just clawing my way and just literally had no idea what was happening. And nobody, necessarily chooses this industry, just kind of fall into it. It is what it is. And it's been a blessing. It's been such a blessing to me, but I have really, I've fallen a lot. I've fallen a lot in my career and I just didn't know. And sometimes I've had some great mentors over the years, but not as many as I would have liked to have. So now I've realized as I've gotten a little bit older and wiser, that it's really up to me to really help the next generation to try to, number one, get excited about our industry, right? Because it is an exciting industry and it can be fun. Like, right? There's parts of it that aren't fun, but there are a lot of parts of it that are really fun. And so,
Absolutely.
so I've gotten very heavily involved in Rise now. So I didn't know what Rise was a couple of years ago. And I knew Amy Cooper and I knew Kat just from our industry, just from, working alongside them in different areas. And probably about 2 years ago, I was at a conference in Fort Lauderdale and they were at that hotel, like kind of seeking it out for their Rise Leadership Award ceremony that was going to happen in that June. And I knew them. I didn't know anything about Rise. And they were so cute, like sitting at this little table saying, like, this is our organization. I was like, cool, that's awesome. I didn't know anything about it. She's like, do you think that you guys would want to like sponsor in some way? You think your firm would want to sponsor? I was like, sure. Look at this cute little organization they have. Let's love on them. I had no idea. I went in June. I was like, what on earth is this? And so there was probably, I don't know, 600 or 700 people. And there was this gala and everybody's in like suits and gowns. I'm like, what on earth? Like they bamboozled me because I had
They did.
So then I learned about Rise and what it was all about. And so it was like, oh, they have these programs where they mentor and you can be a mentor, you can be a mentee. And so I signed up immediately to do it. And I had my first mentee the first year. I didn't know what I was doing. I was matched with someone. She was precious. She was lovely, but she was probably my age. And she was already in this industry for a long time. And it just like, I was trying to help her. She wasn't even on LinkedIn. Like, so for what I could offer and help with, we got a little bit out of it, from one another, but it wasn't like a perfect relationship. So then I said, well, I'm going to do it again because like, I don't give up. I'm going to keep trying. So then I got on board for the next round of mentor mentees. And I was connected with Bianca, who is just my last mentee that I worked with. And I met this baby girl. Oh, she's just such an amazing soul. She's like in her mid-30s, but I'm certainly still old enough to be her mom. I would have been a young mom, but I was old. And so we met the first time, had our little conversation. She was like, oh, I'm going to California for this conference. I was like, oh, I'm going to California for this conference. It was the same conference. So I was able to go out there and have dinner with her and meet her in person. And so we went through this whole entire program, got to know each other so well. She lost her mom to cancer when she was really, really young. So then I just and the fact that she's like so ambitious and she's done so well in this industry. And I just wanted to just love on her and build her up and do all the things I could to help her because I felt like her mama. And so we finished the program together. I taught her about vision boards. She started doing vision boards. She's done all these things like, how she's going to kind of build herself up to just go further and further in her career. But now we have calls at least twice a month. We text every other day, which she's on my Instagram and all that stuff. And she's like my favorite person. She's going to be my friend and mentee for life because she stuck with me, whether she likes it or not. And I like to think that I helped her, but she probably helped me more than I helped her. So, and I just signed up for the next round of mentoring. And I try to do it in my everyday life. And listen, we have kids, so we're mentors every day of our lives anyway, right? Just trying to mentor our own children to take the steps and do the things that they need to do in their lives. And we've managed to raise up some pretty amazing kiddos, haven't we? So I think we need to be sharing it with others too. So mentorship is huge and something that's just so close to my heart. I'm very, very passionate about.
Well, thank you so much for sharing about that. I will drop a link because we have talked about Rise. We had Amy Cooper on last year to talk about the Rise event. And so we'll drop that link in there. And I think it's so important, the work they're doing So thank you for sharing about your
experience.
mentoring there.
Yeah, it was life-changing for sure.
Ralph, any last words?
I just love it, Liva. I do. I love it. And you know what's amazing is, like you said, you've built now a friend for life.
Yeah.
And doesn't that make work better?
Oh my
Doesn't it
God.
make it all so much more fulfilling that
Yes.
you get to work with people that you adore, that you love, that you respect, that you admire. That's what this is all about, right?
It's so
Surrounding
true.
yourself with them.
It's so true. I was talking to a potential new client who actually became a client last week. And it was so funny because one of the things I've decided to do this year is to be a little bit bolder in what I do, because I'm not the kind of person that, like, I'm not a pushy person. I don't like to ask for things. But I've just become to a place now where if I've built up enough of a relationship, you have to ask, because closed mouths don't get fed, right? So you have to ask. So now one of the things I've been doing now is to try to get people on a Teams call to chat with them, because like I could see someone at a conference for 3.5 seconds, but it's not really a time or an opportunity to really connect. So I've been doing like Teams calls with like clients and potential clients just to catch up and chat and see how we can potentially help them. And I talked to this woman the other week and she was so great. We talked about all the things, all the lady things, because we're getting a little bit older. We're going through that stuff. And she has a daughter that's getting married. My daughter just got married. So we just had all these things in common. And I was like, oh, there's these things I got to do, but I just like hate this part of my job. And she's like, you have to remember that the parts of your job that you don't like is why you get paid. Right? Because if we did all the things we wanted to do all the time, we wouldn't even expect a paycheck, because we'd just be happy all the time. So those things, you just got to remind yourself, what's the that you do for work is what you're getting paid for. So that's what you're getting paid for.
That's a good point. But Rafael, maybe we're odd ducks, but we often say we love the work. You know, I've shared this a couple of times. I have a group that I do on Mondays every 2 weeks about self-leadership. And I shared a little story. I'll see if I can say this really quick about how I'm working really hard to be more self-aware when I'm not showing up as my best self. And you know, it's one thing to recognize that you're not showing up as your best self, but to recognize it in the moment and then do something about it, that's really the key. And I did that last week. So I was really excited for myself. And now I forgot what the heck I was going to say about that.
She showed up. She wasn't sure how, but she showed up.
Senior moment. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here.
I mean, the brain fog is real.
And now that it's going to be on YouTube, you saw it too. Asuka! Yeah.
You're doing great, Yvonne. Don't worry.
What were you talking about just before that? There had to have been a thread. You were talking about this.
Well, you were talking about self-awareness, but you said you were talking about your leadership group and something along the lines of your leadership group. And I was talking about how the things that you don't want to do is what you get paid for. So
thank you. So that's one of my issues is I do love what I do so much. Okay, this is gonna be a record because I'm gonna have to tell the whole story now. But that is what it's both a blessing and a curse, because I do love what I do so much that I forget to pause and take care of myself. And so the reason I was able to catch myself not being the best me is because I'd gotten on a roll and I was doing a bunch of stuff. And I realized when I caught myself not being the person I wanted to show up as, when I kind of unpacked that, I realized that I've been sitting at my desk for 5 hours straight. I hadn't gotten up to go to the bathroom. I hadn't had a drink of water. I hadn't had anything to eat. So clearly on a neurological, biological level, when you go for 5 hours, it's not really a good recipe for showing up as your best self.
Right.
So I have that issue. And I do feel very lucky all the time to feel that way. Yes, I need to take care of myself, but I mean, how lucky are we that we do get to do what we love to do most of the time? That was
and 98% of my job, like, it's not glamorous all the time. Sure. Like I miss flights and I have cancellations and I'm stuck in some place. And like, there's certain things that do suck, but for the most part, like 98% of my job is amazing. And I'm just like not the best admin girl. Like I'm such a big picture gal. Like getting into the details is like,
absolutely.
I just want to do fun stuff.
Well, we're gonna have to figure out how to make this a blooper outtake or something, because I had a
that better stay in, Yvonne. That's real. It's real life, sis.
You got it.
Well, listen,
you guys are amazing. I am just so like grateful that you guys like took the time and asked me to be on. Like it just means the absolute world to me. I just feel so grateful and so blessed. So thank you guys so much.
Well, this has been the most fun, and we have to talk about this. We cannot let you go without talking about it. You mentioned it, but you are like, so you mentioned it in relationship to your weight loss, but you are my mentor, because I'm constantly watching you, just so amazed at all the things that you post about your marathons and the places that you go all throughout the world. And so how did you get in? So you said it was about your weight loss journey, but talk to us about that for a minute.
I'm so tired, Yvonne. I'm so tired. No, but I was, my son was about 2 years old, and I had adopted my niece, and I had my son. So I went from 1 to 3 kids, and it was pretty chaotic. And I had just like put on a lot of weight having my babies, and I just was tired of feeling the way I did. And so I just woke up one day and decided I wanted to make a change. And I still don't know to this day how it evolved into what it evolved, but I just like every day consistently just showed up and just kept trying to do all the things. And so I was training for an obstacle course, and there was a swimsuit portion of the competition, and I was in the midst of losing the weight, and I was like, oh, that might be fun to do that just as a celebration of my weight loss. So I did it, competed, didn't really have any business on stage the first time I went on, but I did it. And I was like, I felt like Beyonce. I was like, what? I could do this? Like I'm a mom of 3 and I'm in like hooker heels and a bikini on stage. Like what? And so
ladies and gentlemen, please, no male, please.
So I did it. It was a celebration, but then I was hooked. I was hooked on everything fitness related. And I've done now 11 marathons, and I did CrossFit and all the things. And it was really just an evolution. And now it's just like, now a lot of this stuff is just not to ever go back to who I was before. Mm-hmm. And as we are all getting older, things are getting a little bit more challenging. And I never use age as an excuse, but it's definitely slowed me down a little bit. And I've had some health things that I've had to go through. And so that part of it has been a challenge, but I still feel like I'm not going to sit on the couch and eat bonbons. Like I'm just going to figure out how to keep moving, because a body in motion just stays in motion. So I'm still trying to do all the things as much as my body will allow me to do until it doesn't allow me to do it anymore. So, and I'm going to do Machu Picchu this year. That's my big one for this year. I'm going to hike Machu Picchu. It's a 38-mile hike over like a few days in Peru. And that's going to be my next thing that I do.
How awesome. Wow.
Awesome. I was going to ask you, what's your thing for the year?
Well, I just want to tell you that anytime I come across your posts, you do inspire me. I love seeing them. I just finished, because I'm on a similar journey. I've shared before, a weight and me aren't like totally symbiotic. I have a love-hate relationship. And I just finished reading The Body Is Not an Apology. So for anybody out there, if you haven't read that book yet, I highly recommend it. It's really a good book. Whether you have an issue with that or not, it kind of talks about all the crazy things that we are sucked into through social media. And they call it, there's this whole complex of buying, right, to feed our insecurities. And it's really amazing.
Oh, I love it. I'll have to, could you link that in there, or I got to write that one down? Tell me one more time the name of it.
The Body Is Not an Apology.
Okay. I love that.
I'll email you and I'll send you the link.
I love it because that's constant. I mean, it's a constant struggle that I've been through. Like I often say there's a very fat person living inside of me, and I constantly struggle every single day with my weight, my whole entire life. So it's a constant struggle, and none of us are ever happy and content. But I often say, like, I wish I would have appreciated the body I was in 10 years ago, because
Absolutely.
and even now, I should be appreciating this now, because 10 years from now, it's going to be a different body than it is right now. So you always have to appreciate where you are and give yourself that grace and love yourself, but also keep striving to do the best you can for yourself. So
100%, man, we talked about a lot of stuff today.
You guys are the best. I had no idea what direction this was going to go in, but it was so perfect. And it was so wonderful. And I'm just, again, so grateful that you guys took the time to chat with me. And I hope it helps anybody in some way.
Well, Liva, we love you so much. So thank you for taking time to spend time with us. And like I said, we're going to be looking to connect with you when we can, the next time we're all in the Tampa Bay area together.
Yeah. And Rafael, I mean, you're here all the time, so we need to figure out, I don't know when I'm going to see you. I don't know what conference I'm going to see you at, because I won't be at WCPB, whatever. Anyway, I'm not going to be at that one. So we got to figure out when we're going to connect, because you're in Tampa. We can make that happen.
You got it. You got it.
All right, my friends. Thank you.
Don't go anywhere yet. I'm going to go ahead. So let's say hasta luego. We always say at the end of every episode, Liva, until we see you next time, hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego. Gracias.
Want to say thank you once again to you listeners. We are about to hit 53,000 downloads. We couldn't do that without you. So please continue to listen and share. Share with your friends and colleagues in the industry. Anywhere that you find podcasts, like Apple, Spotify, or Google, really anywhere that you find podcasts, that's where you'll find us. And if you like us, rate us, share the links to the podcast with your friends and colleagues. That will help us find more followers. So what's new? We've got a new newsletter called Comp Deconstructed, and that comes out monthly. We're pushing that out through Substack, and there Rafael and I take turns breaking down one particular topic that we want to take a deeper dive into. We call that One Big Thing Deconstructed. We also share shorter snippets. We call those 3 snackable thoughts, just different things that we find interesting that we want to share with you about things that are happening in the industry. Of course, you can find the latest Ralphie, so that's always fun. And then we also share a short list of upcoming events where you can find Rafael or myself. So thank you so much for your continued support. We really appreciate it. You know where to find us on LinkedIn. Rafael and I both have our own pages there. And of course, Deconstructing Podcast on LinkedIn. Until next time, hasta luego. Make it a great week.